Women often have to do more and settle for less in terms of cold, hard cash. Lainey Gossip is a celebrity gossip entertainment website. Also, it's a business. It's a business that I built with my husband. The introduction on Lainey Gossip, really, to the gender pay gap was what was happening in Hollywood. There was a Sony hack, and one of the big reveals was that on a certain film, American Hustle, Jennifer Lawrence and Amy Adams were not paid as much as Jeremy Renner and Bradley Cooper. It was newsworthy because Jennifer Lawrence was like the biggest movie star in the world, won an Oscar, had a major franchise to her name, which was the Hunger Games, and another one, the X-Men franchise. So it just seemed like, hey, here is the greatest example of how it doesn't work in Hollywood. And P.S., Hollywood is just a mirror and a reflection of how it is in real life.
We can see all those Hollywood stars, the women being paid less than the men. That's data. We know the overall gender pay gap exists, and that's been every year, we say it again, yet we're not getting closer to really fixing the problem. Obviously, attention is a first step, but it's clearly not enough. In Canada, we say the gender pay gap is 74 cents on the dollar. So for every dollar a man earns, women earn 74 cents. In the United States, it's about 76 cents. If you start to break this out by race, you start to see that overall gap is affecting different people in different ways. This is not something that applies the same to everyone.
Women are also, I feel, and I feel like many women would agree with me, punished for their biology. Wanting to start a family, which is a very natural thing to do, and which is a decision that doesn't just impact women, it impacts everybody because you need a dude to make a baby. It's often the women who are compromised for it.
What corporations can do is offer parental leave that goes to both parents and use it or lose it the way they do in some Scandinavian countries, which is each spouse gets some leave. If the male spouse doesn't take his leave, it doesn't get translated to the woman, the family loses it. In Norway, when they went to use it or lose it, they went from 8% of men taking family leave to 92% of men taking family leave. So those kinds of policies at the governmental level and at the corporate level can really make a difference in terms of how we think about who's responsible for family work.
I live in a very modern home in the sense that my husband does all the home chores. I find it very sexy, but I do know that there are many people who would judge that as not being masculine enough. I'm here to say, well, my husband and I together run a very successful business, knock on wood. We are very happy, knock on wood. So if you want to judge that, you might be missing something.
Until we really address how family responsibilities are handled, in this case in heterosexual couples where there's a man and a woman, we're never really actually going to fully fix the gender pay gap.
It's so many of these companies and so many boardrooms where the decision makers are often white men, and they make these decisions that filter down and impact so many people. But how do you get in there?
How do we break into that elite? It's going to take activism on the part of people inside organizations. So what I tell my students is, it's actually a leadership trait to be an ally. You will be a recognized leader if you are the person who steps in those situations and says, look, I don't think this is fair. I see a gap in the pay of my employees. I think there's a real place for people to exercise their leadership in being allies. And so I'm going to pin a lot on this current generation to be the leaders on being allies.